Hey everybody, this is So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
This week on the show, we are wrapping up Animated August with David's pick, Surf's Up, a movie that one Letterboxd reviewer called a must-see. Like the ocean, S-E-A. See?
Oh, that's clever. Mm-hmm. That's clever. Just like this movie in which we get a bit of a combo of Point Break meets Happy Feet. This Sony animated, Oscar-nominated movie tried to ride the penguin wave of the mid-2000s. And for some of us, it worked. For others, not so much.
Plus, we give an update to the Hollywood strike and Dune 2 being delayed. The AMPTP just hired a new crisis communications team to help them with this situation. Our free advice? Give them a good deal.
Yep, we've got all that and more this week on So Many Sequels. Check us out online, SoManySequels.com, and at Patreon/SoManySequels. You can join us there. Come into our Discord and talk about all this stuff and more. Without any further ado, enjoy Surf's Up. So the writer's strike and actor's strike continue. We haven't talked about it in a couple weeks, I don't think. Not a lot has changed, but some things have happened. I think one of the biggest things that regular audiences will be impacted by is the big Dune sequel has been delayed. Mm-hmm. Warner Brothers is delaying the movie, they say, because of the strike. What do we think about that? Just early reactions.
Is Dune done? Like how can we honestly? This has to be the most cursed franchise in recent memory, I think, because the first Dune comes out. It's got this huge. It's got a big budget. Denis Villeneuve. I don't know how you say his name. Right, guy did Blade Runner. Guy did something.
Wonderful. Wonderful take, David. Shot. Excellent take.
My take on Dune is that I haven't seen the first one. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, these delays and stuff, they make it difficult to make me kind of want to see it. I think to go to that question of like, is Dune dead? I didn't get to see it and experience it in the big giant theaters. You know, I think that if they release it, if the movie comes out, I mean, if you got to consider that, but if it does come out, I think that they should re-release the first one in theaters for people to see it. I think that would probably be a smart move and maybe get people interested in going to see it, because like for me, I don't want to go see it because I don't want to watch the 3-hour-long version at home on Max. That sounds inconvenient, and like I'll have to pause it and go back and forth and back and forth, and it'll be like a 4-day watch. And I'd rather not do that. And so I just don't have an interest in seeing part 2. So the fact that it's delayed, it sucks, obviously, because for several different reasons. But like for me, I think that I don't know. There's something to it with the curse of this franchise, I think.
Yeah. So my issue with calling it cursed is like, it's almost all self-inflicted, you know, like nobody made them delay this movie. This is a strike against the strikers. This is an attempt to drag it out longer so that they can drag out releases because they know they are running out of content. And Dune's not the only movie that was delayed. It's just the biggest. But there's probably more to come. So you've got that where literally no one made them do it. Warner's just decided anyway. And then back in 21, when Dune Part 1 was released, they were doing that day and date strategy where it dropped on HBO Max on the same day it released in theaters, which hindered its box office performance. Now, I feel from the vibes I read on the interwebs that it has become pretty popular through streaming, that there's a pretty good Dune fan base now that have been excited about Part 2. And I think it was set to be, I think it was going to open as a big hit. And now I don't think it will because they moved it from the November holiday period into March is dead period. I don't know why they picked that date, because I think that's a dead period. But this was going to be a Thanksgiving holiday movie, basically, and they decided to make it the dead of winter.
Yeah, I don't know where I got cut off before, but
we ended your rant well enough.
I figure that, like, you said everything I was going to say.
Yeah, we talked about how the movie seems to be.
Did I get to say this franchise is cursed? Did I get that
part?
You
did. You did get that part.
There
out
you go. Like, it's what it is. Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't think there's even an argument. Might be the worst run studio
right now.
The last 3 years at least. Like, it's just every decision they could make to alienate fans, they do, and this is one of them. I still haven't watched Dune, the first one. So I'm not like personally.
So I'm the only one who's seen Dune in the room.
Yeah. You are, yeah.
I liked it a lot. I mean, I got to see it in theaters. I didn't have to watch it on Max at home, but I really liked it, and I had got to where I was looking forward to the second one.
I'm not personally invested in it, but it still sucks for anybody who's a real fan of either the book, the original movie, the director, the actors, anybody involved with it, that you want to see this, for it to just constantly be getting moved around. Honestly, I don't think it releases in March. I don't.
You think they're going to push it further?
I think they'll push it again. I think come Christmas or come December, come January, they'll push it again.
Does that mean you don't think the strike will end by year's end?
I don't think this. My wife asked me the other night about it, and I think the earliest I think the strike ends is Thanksgiving. Like, maybe it ends before that. But if they've just if the studios have just made their first offer over 100 days in, the second offer is not going to come for like a long time. We could be looking at another month. It could be in mid-September before they make another offer.
Did you see that the AMPTP? They have really hired a new like crisis management firm to help with their communication around this, because they suck.
It's really hard for them to spin this in their favor at this point. Because no matter, I mean, what would be the best is for this guy to come in and go, you know what would be great is if you guys gave them a great deal. That would be the best way to improve your PR, because the longer you make this hard for the people who work and actually create the content, the worse you look. Like, it's not even going to matter if you give them a good deal after 300 days. You're going to look like the jerks.
I feel like the issue is that the CEOs know that the business model has been heavily broken in their favor for a long time, right? I mean, like, they get money from TV, they get to create all of this streaming stuff, they don't have to pay anybody. All of the money that they have incoming just goes to them and goes to that, and they don't have to pay any of these creatives. Now that they have to pay these creatives, they go, we can't have shows on TV, on streaming. We're not making any actual money long term. And now that we have to pay them, we do have to totally upend the system. Now, having said that, if that's the system, it needs to be upended. So I am here for taking down your streaming and giving me less content if you give me better content and you pay people fairly. That's what I want. Because like right now, I'm to a point where, like, unfortunately, the actor strike hasn't started affecting me personally, because there's just so much crap out there that you can just mindlessly turn on. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be there. And it just is. And that is a negative for the writers, is that people just can just go find shit to watch, literally. And that's a downside. But like, take these things down, pay these people more, give me better content, and then I think I'll be happier overall.
Yeah, and on the studio side,
eventually,
I think where they're kind of now having their freak out moment is when it comes to streaming, Netflix is still really the only one that's financially successful. The others don't really turn a profit. Some don't have to. You know, like your Amazons and your Apples, they're so big in other ways that I think it's just kind of an extra bonus for them. But then you got your other ones like Universal's Peacock and Disney Plus, where it's like their whole identity tied into it, and they are struggling more. So now they're also looking at, oh my God, we don't have as much leverage as we thought.
I also want to do original programming wise, I think Peacock's underrated. I think
it is.
The creatives, I think the creatives who write and work for Peacock should be appreciated more, because the original programming that I've always watched on Peacock has been great. And that goes to show that there is a lot of really good shows and talent hidden on these streaming services that just don't get a chance because they're buried by other things and they don't get that same kind of attention. So there's a lot of really good stuff on some of these streaming channels that need to be appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what's going to happen. I agree with your guess, David, that the earliest is probably Thanksgiving-ish. I hope it's then or earlier. But like you said, the not WGA, but the AMPTP just released their first proposal a few days ago, which is an insane amount of time to wait. And the WGA rejected it. And then they immediately hired that crisis firm. So I think they were also taken aback by the rejection of the proposal. It sounds like they attempted to kind of smoke them out and then offer them a bad deal when they're desperate and hope they would take it. And they did not.
And you know when they're going to be the most desperate? And we already know this is like their strategy. When they're going to be most desperate is in the holidays. When it comes down to Thanksgiving, as they get closer to Christmas and these writers and actors, the ones that are not, mega millionaires, the ones that are working job to job, they're the ones that are going to be struggling to go home to see their family, to buy presents for their kids, to do whatever, to enjoy the American holidays. And so that's what they're counting on, is that those people are going to be so stressed that they're going to demand that the WGA just accept whatever the most recent offer is. So I could definitely see I could see Thanksgiving at the earliest, but if the studios, if they think they have enough that they can stretch this out till Christmas, they will. So I'm hopeful that it ends sooner than that, but I'm pessimistic that it will.
Yeah. Well, we will keep up with the news, of course, and talk about it as new things happen here on the show. But let's switch gears and get into our movie of the week. Does that sound good?
Let's do it.
So we're in our final week of animated August. It's been a fun month full of animated joy and whimsy, from Shrek to The Great Mouse Detective to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And now we're ending on David's pick, which is Surf's Up. And I'm going to need you to tell us why.
Well, this is a movie that came out in 2007. I don't know if I saw it in 2007. It was probably sometime a little after. But this is a movie that, to me, is so fun and so different and so experimental. They tried some different stuff. Now, at first glance, and this is what really got me about the movie, at first glance, it's like they had a big wheel. You remember the Seek wheel? They had their own wheel, and they went clack, 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 penguins, clack, 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 surfing, clack, 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 shot like a documentary. And that was their whole, that was how they started the whole creative process, was just throwing random things at the wall, right?
It felt like that.
And there it is, the sequel.
A real relic right there.
There you go.
You got to bring it back.
Solid idea, but it kept screwing us, And
it did.
So at first it's they just threw things at the wall. And it's 2007. It is in the height of Penguin Mania. Happy Feet had come out. March of the Penguins had come out. And so people were nuts for penguins. And so you have, and the Penguins of Madagascar hadn't come out, but they were in Madagascar at that point. So it was just penguins were running wild across America, And this was a movie that said, what if we took the penguins and made them do something that's just not penguin-y and made them surfers?
2007 was also peak year for The Office, I would imagine, with this mockumentary style. Yeah,
it is. And thus the mockumentary, and honestly, to me, that was when I first started watching, because I didn't even know about that aspect. When I first started watching this movie, that was what grabbed me. I went, oh, they're doing it like a documentary. And that, to me, in animated form, I had never seen that, and I haven't seen it since, really. I thought, what a creative way to utilize that narrative structure to tell to do a story in a different way. I really like the cast. Shia LaBeouf, he's had his moments since then, but at the time, this was the height of Shia LaBeouf and the no.
Peak Shia 2007. This is Transformers, I think, same year.
Yes, Transformers, same year.
There's another one. Keep talking.
Disturbia, maybe.
I actually like
Shia
Disturbia.
Disturbia is great.
Zooey Deschanel, Jeff Bridges in full-on penguin dude form. And then you also have James Woods, Diedrich Bader, John Heder. This was fresh off of Napoleon Dynamite's Ultimate Craze, so John Eder's in this. And it was fun and different. And then also what really sold me after a while was just how beautiful the animation is. Like the water looks gorgeous at times and honestly still holds up. I was watching it just yesterday, and the last shot of the movie where he's riding through the tube and the sun is glistening off of the inside of the wave. I was like, man, it's just amazing. Just amazing job. I watched some of the behind the scenes about this as well, so we can talk about that in a minute. But I am genuinely fascinated to hear what you guys thought.
All right, Garrett, what did you think of Surf's Up? Did you watch it today?
I did. As of this recording, I watched it today. Fresh. Yeah, and it was my first time, and I didn't know what to expect going in because I absolutely remembered nothing about this. I had vague memories of the title, but I think I got it confused with something else, and I couldn't tell you what the other thing was that I thought I was thinking of, but it certainly wasn't this. I think that it's the most fine thing of fineness that's ever been fine. This is a great movie to put on a Sunday afternoon and fall asleep to and wake up and go, oh, all right, this is still going. Okay.
Did you fall asleep, Garrett?
Cool. I did because honestly, the whole movie's boring. Like I found it to be so middling. And so, I'm glad that you talked about the time frame that it came out because I straight up forgot about the penguin craze. And that explains a lot. The mockumentary thing explains a lot. It's not that I had any real issues with it. It just was nonsensical. Like, why is Cody the purpose of this documentary, especially as the documentary unfolds, is when we learn that he has found Big Z. It's not that he found Big Z and they wanted to do a documentary on him. It's that he was like the topic of it for some reason. He wasn't really that good of a surfer. He hadn't made a name for himself. So why is he the topic? And then it unfolds and then it's just like, I don't know. And then it just, I don't know. Honestly, the best part of this movie for me, there was a moment. You can find it on our Instagram page. I took a screen cap. I took a screen cap of when Cody is sitting in the ocean and he's had this angsty teen 17-year-old of like, why won't people just let me be me? And he paddles out to the ocean and it's backlit silhouette looking at the sun and it's Incubus's Drive. I lost it because this soundtrack is an absolute bop. It is the way back flashback that Josh and I used to host in real life films. I mean, it ends with yes, it was so beautiful and so angsty. Yeah, you got there was a Sugar Ray reference in there, which I noticed. There was a Pearl Jam reference in there. It ended with the New Radicals. You get what you give, which is a great song.
Yes,
so like that had me hooked. But overall, I would say that this is just perfectly fine. I'm not upset that I watched it. I will not remember it, but if it's on, I probably won't watch it unless I just need a nap.
Oh, that hurts me, Garrett. But now I want to hear from Josh, who will hurt me, and if more, I have a feeling.
The movie's existence is hard to understand because you're right, David. It is like they spun the wheel. It's like they pulled a 2007 movie slot machine, and it was like kid movie, animated, Penguin, Incubus, mockumentary, things, Shia LaBeouf. And they were like, okay, let's spit it out because it's extremely 07 and in ways where it makes it not make sense today. I think why is it a mockumentary? It doesn't make sense as a mockumentary. They haven't even established a world where penguins can make mockumentaries.
Of course, this is it. This is the one.
No, they don't have technology in their villages.
Of course they do. They got
think about these things. I was like, where's the technology?
Were the documentary crews
Where's the crews?
Or were they penguins?
We don't know.
They sounded like people.
They
left undetermined.
So that's weird. And And then yes, why is Cody the subject? He's not special.
Look,
he's not like the best. Like he says,
think
he is,
about it this way: they shot footage of all the surfers, but then the story turned out to be Cody, so he became the focus in editing.
Well,
think about it that way.
Then I have to agree that the story came out mid.
Oh, guys,
I'm gonna break news right here. I told you all last week I accidentally watched it because I thought we were doing it last week. Dudes, I watched it again and I still couldn't pay enough attention because I was bored.
Oh man.
I watched it again today and I was like, I don't know what's
It really
happening.
does feel like a movie of the times. It feels like Deadpool 2 to some extent, where like if you were alive in that time frame and you have that reference still in your head, you'll get it. But it didn't make sense to me. I mean, like it was a perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's
but my
adequate.
brain was like, why did they make this? Why? But then you put context to it, and I went, oh, Shia LaBeouf was big, Penguins were big, animated movies were big. They was just trying to make a quick buck, and like John Heater was big. Like this is like version 4. This is like the 4th version of a Penguin movie that came out that year, and they were just trying to ride that lightning.
Yeah, I would like to see a breakdown exactly of the order of Penguin phenomenon films and where it's placed in the order, because it is weaker. I feel like it's a response to Happy Feet, and they were like,
"It is."
What if we made Happy
not a
Feet
response
for cool kids?
But they reference Happy Feet in the movie because early on they asked Cody if he has any other talents, and he goes, "What, like singing and dancing? Nah, not me, bro."
Well, and Happy Feet was also musically driven. This is musically driven, just in a different way. The Penguins don't sing the songs, but popular music is a weird staple in the soundtrack. Really, it's only remarkable in the one time when Incubus plays. Because
it's remarkable.
I busted up when that happened.
It's remarkable.
I backed it up like 4 times.
How is that not what wins you guys over? Because it's part of what won me over. It's part of what won me over. Like when Drive starts playing, when they play What I Like About when they play the Romantics, New Radicals, Sugar Ray. It's so fun. Okay, so, and I'm gonna look this one up. Madagascar.
It reminds me of what's it called in Spider-Man?
Kroger. So Madagascar and Madagascar 2 came out in 05 and 08. March of the Penguins came out in 05. And then Happy Feet came out in 06. So this was...
Oh my gosh, the Surf's Up is literally riding the end of the wave.
Yes, it is.
And it is clear.
And it is clear in the tube.
I do think, David, that you mentioned the animation. And I do agree that it's... I like that this movie is what we end on, because we started with a Sony Animation movie in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Right there, that's Sony Animation?
No, that was a Paramount, Nickelodeon.
Oh, well, how about that? Okay, then I'm wrong. But I think that we've talked about so many Sony Animation because
Spider-Verse is Sony Animation, versus Machines.
Yeah, and so this, I agree that I think that the best part of the movie was the scenery animation. I thought the water looked really nice. I thought the scenes looked nice. I thought that they did a really good job of making me really interested in the world that they were surrounding them. I think their characters were just flat, and I think that's where it fell for me. But like the scenery was really welcoming, and it was really inviting, and it does. I think that it holds up, and I think that it's kind of interesting to see how Sony has changed, because you can see that again they're trying to achieve that Pixar level of beauty and clarity and bringing this animated stuff to life while keeping that animated nature. And now they're going back to, again, the drawing board and trying stuff like that. And so I think that that's fun. Again, I think that's what you should consider making animated movies. Like what style of animation does this movie call for? Is it clean? Is it dirty? Is it gritty? Like how can we adjust? And I think that's something that Sony can play with. Clearly, they're trying different things, and I like that.
This was Sony Animation's second film after Open Season. You guys remember that one? Open Season is a hilarious franchise because they've made 3 Open Season movies, and the main characters are played by different actors in each one. It is really quite funny. It is the reverse Toy Story. But yeah,
this was their different animals each time. Like
Open Season
they are
deer,
the
same
Open
character
bear.
each time. They are the same character each time. In the first one, all right, we'll briefly talk about Open Season here, because in the first Open Season, okay, the main characters are Martin Lawrence and Ashton Kutcher. In the second one, it's Joel McHale and Mike Epps. And in the third one, it is someone named Matthew Munn and Maddie Taylor. So not even actors that you might recognize. So like, anyway, that's funny. Anyway, yeah, Surf's Up, their second movie out the frame. And something that they did in terms of, because like, I think you're right, they experiment. Now here, where they were experimenting with was like two different things. They did ensemble recordings. So they had Jeff, Shia, Zooey Deschanel, John Heder, and I think even Diedrich Baker, who was Tank in this. They had them all in the same room at the same time. Loved Diedrich Bader. Loved him. He was great. Always. He's the origin of the TikTok of these are my ladies and doing that whole bit. So they had them all in the room at the same time. They had a script, but they also encouraged them to improv. They encouraged them to overlap so that it sounded really natural and like they were catching them in real moments. So that was like an experimental way for them to do the audio recording. And then they created, for the mockumentary style, they created a virtual character cameraman who they would animate running around the scene so that it was actually moving and hovering instead of being like a static shot. Now, sometimes the cameraman's not there. You're just seeing the real world. But when you see that cameraman, you see it through the crowds and you see, the whip pans and stuff like that because it's supposed to be like a real character in the sequence holding the stuff. And what they did was they mocapped that guy. They would put him in there. They would create the scene and they would mocap the cameraman, like the real cameraman walking through a virtual reality thing. So they had like an actor actually reacting to the scene. So it felt like what a real cameraman would be trying to capture. So I mean, it's really interesting. And they tried a lot of different stuff. I don't know how that stuff has played out in the future since, but it was a really different way to go about it. What have you discovered, John? Or is your dog just dying? Or is your dog dying over there again?
No. So I had the thought of what happened to Surf's Up because I never.
You already know about the sequel, don't you? You've read about
that's
the sequel
what I've discovered. But
I, Josh, friends, because I literally just looked it up too.
Yeah,
I was gonna wait to show you guys this, but
what got me though was I went to the Letterboxd entry. And I looked at the reviews, and one of the top reviews, it says, actually the worst thing ever. Penguin John Cena can lick my fat fucking nuts. And that's when I couldn't contain it.
So the sequel is Surf's Up 2 Wave Mania, and it's a complete WrestleMania
It's a WWE movie.
WWE integration.
It stars John Cena, Mark Calloway, better known as The Undertaker, Paul Levesque, better known as Triple H, Vince McMahon, better known as Criminal, Saraya, better known as Paige from the movie Fighting for My Family. It looks like it's got just great stuff going on here. John Heder makes a return. Cody Maverick has been replaced. Jeremy Shada takes over for Shia LaBeouf.
These are beautiful reviews on Letterboxd.
Michael Cole's
some of my favorite. And it's even better without context of never having seen it. Vince McMahon, chairman and CEO of WWE Incorporated, as a sea otter surf star, sucking milk out of an innocent fish's butthole using a straw as the fish cries out of discomfort. What?
Listen,
I don't know what this movie is.
We're so many sequels. We got to work this into the schedule.
It honestly sounds more interesting than the first one.
All right,
now it doesn't sound better.
That's going too far,
but maybe more interesting.
Oh man!
Wow, I can't believe they didn't get Shia and Zoe back for that. In 2016 of all times, what a time to release a sequel to Surf's Up.
Yeah,
on straight to DVD, WWE branded.
Just full on WWE integration.
What do you think went down? We've veered from the movie a little bit, but what do you think went down at WWE that made them think Surf's Up? That's the partnership we need.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how they got linked up with Sony. I don't know. WWE must have got somehow linked up in the conversation with let's work together on a movie, and then Sony was like, okay.
There's a Venn diagram of WWE fans and kids who like Incubus. And they're almost a full circle.
Honestly, most WWE kids like Incubus.
That's why I say it's almost a full circle. Barely a Venn.
But I bet you Sony was like, do we have any dormant franchises we can shoehorn WWE into? And then someone was like,
Surf's Up,
Cotty the Chance of
man.
Meatballs? No. What about Hotel Transylvania? No. Surf's Up? Sure. That works.
Incredible.
I wonder if it's still documentary style, or I've never watched it because it looks.
Oh my god, it
painful.
should be.
It looks like this. It looks painful, but maybe we'll squeak. Maybe you know what we don't have.
I can't begin to tell you how vulgar the reviews are. This is genuinely in the running for my favorite series of reviews on Letterboxd, and they all almost talk about mutilation of balls, which is concerning.
That's unhealthy, friends. Don't do that.
Oh man!
Another reference to was it necessary to show a seal sucking off a fish? That's all I'm done.
Oh my god!
These are okay.
This is a family show.
Watch the movie now. We'll have to watch the movie now.
I have a lot of questions. What else do we have to say about Surf's Up?
Yeah,
is there anything else that we want to talk about that one?
David,
your pick.
I do want.
We kind of crapped all over it, so let's.
I'd happy to continue.
Is there anything more?
I agree. It does star some real life surfers: Kelly Slater, Rob Machado. That was kind of a neat little
You made both those names up, didn't you?
No, they say the names in the movie. They're like Kelly, Rob.
Was surfing a big thing then too? Do we know that?
In 2007? I don't know. Well, I mean, the movie
was there a big Olympic surfer or something?
The movie's highly referential of a couple of surfing documentaries. One called Riding Giants in 2004. One called Endless Summer that came out in 1966. Like it's very referential of those surfing documentaries. And I think there's probably is still a pretty predominant surfer culture. I don't know what surfers in general thought of this movie, but I thought, it was fun to me. I enjoyed it. So it was nominated for Academy Award. Didn't win.
The animation
Ratatouille won that year.
Yeah.
So, I will say that of the Penguins, here's what appealed to me as a kid when we would learn about animals and stuff, and I would get zoo books. The rockhopper penguin was my favorite of the penguins, and that's what Cody is. He's a rockhopper penguin with the little frills over his eyes. So I like that. I liked that each penguin has like these kind of neat little designs in their feathering that makes them kind of unique. Like Tanks are all like tribal tats, and then Big Z, he has like Hawaiian lei flowers are all like painted into his feathering, and everybody has kind of something unique. So I like that, and I like that. I like Brian Posehn. I want to mention him as well as Cody's brother who hates him.
I really enjoy Brian.
Honestly, I do agree that the voice cast is also fun. I have no problems with the voices that they brought to the table. I just felt like it wasn't like a coherent thing. It didn't seem like anybody had any chemistry. It felt like everybody was reading their lines really well, but they weren't playing with each other. So it just kind of fell flat.
It felt like a movie. So I told you that they improv. They used improv for some of the lines, and it feels like an improv movie. It feels like trying to make it up on the spot. So like that can work and that cannot work for people. And I have fun with it. I don't really have much else to say other than I think it's good. I think it's underrated. I understand. Honestly, when I first watched it, I had a feeling it was. I went in with the same kind of attitude. Where I was like, this can't possibly be good. And I expected you guys to not like it. So it works out in my favor. I'm just going to stick to my guns.
Good. My favorite line, which made me think it was improv, was right before the Incubus moment when he's like, Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
Yeah, exactly.
Wherever tomorrow.
I like
Cody's me, bro.
It's a great shot when he's like looking at the water and he's all backlit. Great shots in this movie. The water. I
so
say again,
emo.
The final sequence of the movie where they're listening to New Radicals, all right, which was a band that really should have done more. I wish they hadn't broke up when they did. You get what you give, and Someday We'll Know. Terrific songs, all right.
The whole album's great.
It is a great album.
I had it out on cassette.
It sucks. It sucks. I used to when we was in baseball, when I played baseball, we would listen to. I would force New Radicals on everybody. And they really got into it, the baseball team. Anyway, that last sequence where they're just surfing and they're just enjoying life. It's not about the competition anymore. They don't care. And they're just riding. It's a great sequence. Great. The water is beautiful. So Anyway, that's the button I'll put. Oh, the one button I want to put on it is one of my favorite jokes that I still love is Cody almost wipes out and he almost drowns, right? Because the waves just keep hitting him, and he slams into the ground. And later they find a sea urchin prong in his foot, and he's like, "Oh, he stepped on a sea urchin." And they cut to the sea urchin because it's a documentary, so they got his interview, and he goes, "Stepped on me. This guy was dancing on me. Look at this, broken." And they cut away. Hilarious. My favorite part of the movie, maybe. There you go.
Wow. Well, that I think is all I have to say. That serves up. Unless there's anything else, let's talk about how this movie performed in the box office. Was the Penguin craze still powerful enough to make this movie a hit? I have no idea what the answer is.
The short answer is not really.
Oh,
So the movie didn't do awful, but I'll explain. Surf's Up opened the weekend of June 8th, 2007. It opened in the number 4 spot with just 17.6 million, which really this was a pretty overall a pretty solid week at the box office. You had a lot of movies making 10 million, 15 million or more. So in fact, every movie in the top 5 made more than 15 million. So honestly, not a bad week at the box office. A lot of options for families, a lot of options for moviegoers. In the number 1 spot, you had the opening Ocean's 13, which brought in 36.1 million. We reviewed Ocean's 13. You can go back and listen to our review there. I really like that movie a lot as well. At number 2, you have Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. So the capper of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie was in its 3rd week, bringing in $21 million. At number 3, you had Knocked Up from Judd Apatow, Seth Rogen. Who was the woman? Katherine Heigl? Or is it someone else? Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Paul Rudd and all that. 19.6 million in its 2nd weekend. Again, Surf's Up at number 4. And at number 5, we can't get away from him. Shrek the Third in its 4th weekend brings in 15.3.
Shrek has entered into my TikTok algorithm lately. I've been sending a lot of them to David lately. So I hope he's infected you too.
He has. I've seen Shrek is everywhere. I keep hearing "Accidentally in Love" is being used a lot in a lot of things. Correction from 2 weeks ago. Smash Mouth did not sing "Accidentally in Love." It was Counting Crows.
Right.
My wife fact checked me hard on that one. Slip of the tongue. That's all.
Official fact.
Anyway, Surf's Up would go on to make 58.8 million in the United States, 93 million overseas. So it did okay internationally. For a worldwide total of $152 million on a $100 million production budget. Don't know what the marketing budget was there. So it may have just broke even when you put all those together. But so not well enough to be like a big hit, but not bad enough to be like a complete bomb. For the year of 2007, which it's been a while since I think we've done a 2007 movie. But
been a
while. When did that come
out? A lot
of
music issues in this episode.
We're gonna run into a lot of issues with the strike. For the year of 2007, another movie we reviewed, Spider-Man 3, was the number 1 movie, bringing in 336 mil. Shrek the Third finished number 2. Shia LaBeouf was not shut out of the top 5 as Transformers finished number 3. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End at number 4, and Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix rounds out the top 5 for 2007. Big year 2007, honestly. You had 28 movies or more. You had 28 movies make over $100 million at the box office. So overall, a pretty decent year for film.
Honestly, yeah, I just glanced at the most popular films in 2007 at Letterboxd. Ooh, there's some good ones. I forget.
Oh yeah, it was a good year.
2007 is a lost year.
It is.
Yeah, financially, it was an up year. It was better than 2006, and so 2007 forgot a good year, a solid year, a pivotal year. We were juniors in high school, so like a lot of the movies we were seeing I feel like it's probably between 2004 and 2008 are really like our golden window of seeing movies. Probably the three of us.
That's back when we were kids.
That's all I'll say. I didn't make the effort to look up what the most financially successful movies featuring penguins are, but I maybe I can figure that out before the end of the show.
Who knows? All right, well, let's.
Also, the tagline for this movie was "A major ocean picture."
Okay, well, I like that. I do like that tagline.
There you go. So Letterboxd, let's do it.
Yes, pulling up the Letterboxd game here. Let's do some of the top reviews from this movie. Hopefully they're a little better than Surf's Up 2 was, but let's see. Most popular review, 4.5 stars. Watch the 3-hour director's cut, a must-see. SEA.
SEA. There you go.
4 stars.
3 hours director's cut.
4 stars. Wait, why the fuck is this movie so great? 4 stars. You, Happy Feet. Me, an intellectual. Surf's Up. 4 stars. When your uncle pees on your crush.
What?
I don't know.
You might have been asleep for that, Garrett.
I could have been.
3.5 stars. This movie changed me and the boys forever. I'm taken aback. So.
Wow.
I don't know what.
Who's Garrett's? You're in last. So
okay.
So you lead the way this week.
God, those threw me. I came in thinking it was going to be low. Those were all really high. I know they're most popular, but I still think it's going to be lower. But I am going to get it in the 3s, and I'm going to make it a low 3. I'm going to go 3.2.
3.2 from Garrett?
I like that guess. I'm going to go with a. Which way do I want to go though? I think I'll go up and pick 3. I'm gonna go 3.3. Be safe.
3.3. I don't know where it's gonna be, but I'm gonna lead with my heart. I'm gonna say 3.7.
Ooh. It could be. Honestly, I came in thinking it was going to be in the 2s.
Okay,
those reviews alone bumped me up into the 3s.
We got 3.7, a 3.3, and a what were you? 3.2 or 1, Garrett?
2.
2.
Garrett was a 2.
It was 2. Okay, we do not have a direct hit this time, but we do have one who was closest without going over. If those were our rules, R.I.P. Bob Barker.
Okay.
3.4, which makes me the winner with my 3.3 guess.
Nice. He's got the momentum.
I got the juice.
There you go. So that's 6 wins.
The Riz Master.
And
I need to stop. Take me to the hospital.
There you go. Well, Josh wins this week. That's great. 3 wins in a row. That's huge, Josh.
Oh, is it 3? I thought it was just 2. I'll take it. Woo!
No, because you won Shrek as well. So you did Shrek, you nailed Mouse Detective, and you win here. 3.4, I am fine with that. That is actually nice. I was hoping it was that it was a 3.5, but I'll take a 3.4. That's a solid range. And okay. I think a lot of people are on my side. I think a lot of people are like, you know what, this isn't as bad as it should be.
Clearly, at least by the top reviews, a lot of people are on your side. What are we going to give it, though? I imagine it'll be quite the range. Would you like to go first, David, who will almost certainly rank it highest?
I am going to give it I believe I've already given it 4 stars on Letterboxd previously, because I think it's just a really solid film. I don't think it's like revolutionary in any way, but I think it takes some big swings, and I think it connects on enough of them for me that I give it 4 stars.
It is, I every now and then I reevaluate my ranking system. And I didn't do a major change, but I did do one modification, and I had a disappointing section on there, and I never walk away from a movie feeling like disappointed. So I changed my disappointed to what I consider meh or underwhelming. Mm-hmm. And I would say that this movie falls into that category for me, and it is a 2-star. 2-star.
2-star. 2. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm surprisingly going to be kinder, but only by a little bit, because I was thinking 2.5 for me. It was okay. That's my okay territory, and I'm comfortable with that. So
that's fine. Hey, there you go. 2 stars. So 2, 2.5, and a 4. Who knows what that is?
2, 2.5. Oh, nope. 2, 2.5, 4, I'm in college. 2.8.
Oh, that's too low. That's too low. We got to round that up to a 3.
Well, I can't help you.
You can. You're the one documenting it. Just round that up to a 3.
All right, I'll give you a 3.
There you go.
I'll give you a 3 just to make you feel better since we dogged on your pick real hard.
That's okay. That's okay. I had a feeling you wouldn't like it.
Well, at least you came in like not super attached to it.
Oh, I mean, I understand that it's weird, it's weird, and it's kind of a hard sell. I get it. It's just a matter of what works for you and what doesn't. I did not like, when I finally saw it, I didn't like Napoleon Dynamite. Everybody was going crazy for that movie when I watched it. I was like, this is a movie made up of deleted scenes. Like, why does this movie exist? So, like, I get it. Sometimes a weird movie that seems like it's made for stoners just works for you.
You know what, though? When Napoleon Dynamite came out in 2004, that was the first time I was, like, aware of an independent film. And I was like, oh, so this is like not a mainstream movie. This is like a cool movie for cool kids like me who are 13 and cool. Yeah. So that's my relationship with Napoleon Dynamite. Maybe we'll talk about it one day.
Maybe. Is there a month that starts with I? There's not. Take it.
Nope, there's no I months. But you never know. We'll figure it out. All right. Well, that is a wrap on Animated August. I think it went well.
I think it was a great month.
Be sure and go back and check them out if you missed any of them. Recap again. We did the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie. We did Shrek. We did The Great Mouse Detective. And we did Surf's Up. All of those movies, except TMNT, are streaming somewhere on the internet. And I'm sure TMNT will be on streaming soon-ish. So go check those out.
Oh, that's funny.
What?
Sorry, I gave every one of the movies this month 4 or better.
Oh, wow.
I was just looking at my reviews of them, and so.
Animated.
Do we want to rank? You talked about the movies that we did. Do we want to rank our favorites of Animated August?
Oh gosh, that's tough.
Well, Surf's Up's at my bottom of this month.
Yeah,
then,
I would agree with that.
Probably.
It's a tough one. We had some good movies this month.
It feels wrong, but I think I have to go Surf's Up, Great Mouse Detective, TMNT, and then Shrek. It just feels wrong to put Mouse Detective at number 3.
I understand. For me, I have to put, it feels wrong what I'm about to say, because I'm going to put Shrek 3rd because I thought that TMNT, which would be my number 2, was just so wonderful. And then The Great Mouse Detective has been my favorite movie, one of my favorite anime movies since I was a kid.
Yeah, I think for me, gosh, man, that's so tough. I think I am going to say, Great Mouse Detective is 1. I'm going to say Shrek is 2, TMNT is 3, and Surf's Up 4. But again, I gave all of these 4 or better. So for me, it is like very much shades of gray. And I think I'm giving Shrek, the only reason I'm giving Shrek 2 is for the legacy of it. And TMNT I thought was really good. I'm really looking forward to seeing more. I'm only giving Shrek that boost because of the nostalgia factor. And obviously Great Mouse Detective is towards the top for extreme nostalgia factor. But Surf's Up is also great. So.
Okay, well, there's our rankings. Let us know your rankings if you followed along or if you've seen all the movies. You can do that on any of our social media channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Go to somanysequels.com. You can find links to most of those there at the top of the page, as well as links to all of our past episodes, so you can catch some of those that you may have missed, or go back and visit some of those movies we talked about from 2007. Ocean's 13. I think there was another one, but those are all out there on the internet for you to enjoy. And of course, if you're listening, did you know that we're on YouTube too? You can watch our faces on YouTube at the So Many Sequels channel. And then if you really love us and want to support the show, go to patreon.com/so-many-sequels. Join us there. We're working on making that into something fun. We've got Discord access where we're talking about movies and news and fun things going on. We got a nice group of people on there right now, and we're looking for more. So go join that at patreon.com/so-many-sequels. All right. we're gearing up for a really fun part of the year. I think our favorite part of the year for all of us is this holiday extravaganza coming up. Keep an eye on our social channels for September. We might be doing some fun, different things. Maybe not podcasting so much, maybe videoing. I don't know. Maybe both. We'll see. But keep an eye there just in case you don't hear from us on a Monday like you're used to. But then we'll be back in October full force with So Many Scares, November, Christmas in December, wrap up the year. It's going to be great. SoManySequels.com. We'll see you guys next time.